This is Jason without the add-on Coroner's Coffee, and this is Jason with it. When Jason first came out, this add-on was incredible. I mean, look at how fast you can close the distance. Except that second clip is a lie. And if you're not constantly reading pages and pages of patch notes, you probably missed the update where Coroner's Coffee no longer activates when a survivor makes contact with the environment, which makes the add-on basically useless. And that's not the only add-on that's been changed. I bet you're still running an add-on that used to be good like 2 patches ago, thinking that it's still the meta. Meanwhile, I bet you haven't even touched some of Jason's best add-ons. That's how much his add-ons have changed. Well, today you don't have to worry anymore. I'm taking every single Jason add-on and comparing them side by side in the most up-to-date guide available. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which add-ons to actually use and which ones are just wasting space. Jason has so many great add-ons that might suit you differently depending on how you play. If you love being an omnipresent evil, this first group of add-ons is exactly for you. If you're like me, you enjoy zipping around the map invisible to everyone. And if you enjoy these add-ons, you're probably an omnipresent Oscar. Let's start with the one add-on everyone's talking about, Deputy's Badge. While in omnipresent evil, passing within 2 meters of a generator will cause it to explode and begin regressing. If survivors are repairing it, they will get a hard skill check instead. In a world where gens seem to be popping faster and faster, being able to move around the map and regress generators at the same time makes the game feel so much more manageable. This add-on is incredibly powerful, and oddly enough, it did something completely different in the PTB. It used to be one of those add-ons that like changes the generator's color based on the generator's progress, but in exchange, it slowed down your speed in Omnipresent Evil. And just like the add-on Semiotic Keyboard for Xenomorph and Bonnie's guitar strings for Springtrap, I really didn't care for this add-on in the PTB, but luckily they changed it into one of the most powerful add-ons I've ever used on Killer. Be warned, this add-on was nerfed at the start of July. It cut the range down from 4 meters to 2 meters, but if there's one thing I've learned from all these add-on tests, it's that a few meters doesn't really change a whole lot. This add-on is really hard to take off your builds once you get accustomed to it. It's like gifting one of your friends a brand new RTX 5090 computer to go back to gaming on your Samsung smart fridge. You're gonna notice the difference. Deputy's Badge is awesome. Next up is the Iridescent Boat Motor. The Iridescent Boat Motor marks any window you go through while in Omnipresent Evil, and then once you perform a jump scare, it blocks all marked windows for 13 seconds. This add-on seems like it could be strong, but it has a lot of glaring issues on how it fits into Jason's gameplay. To understand where this add-on goes wrong, let's look at the PTB version. In its PTB form, this add-on blocked windows for only 5 seconds, which is ridiculous, especially when you remember that Bamboozle gives you 16 seconds of block time. But anyways, a lot of people were critical about this add-on in the PTB for good reason. I mean, it's an iridescent add-on, it should be good. So Behavior buffed this add-on to almost 3 times the effect, blocking windows for 13 seconds, which did make the add-on better, but it didn't necessarily make it good. Because the issue isn't necessarily how long it blocks the windows, it just feels so unnatural to use. Like, windows are only marked for 13 seconds, so the goal is to quickly mark like all nearby windows around a survivor. But to do that, you have to block the windows between you and the survivor just in case they double back. Oh, when you should probably block the ones in front of them, because that's more likely where they would run. And then maybe the ones to the left and the right too. You basically have to make an entire circle around them and then you're good. I'm obviously being dramatic, but the point is you have to be very strategic on how you use this, and it only really works at specific tiles and maps. I don't know about you, but when I play Killer, I want my add-ons to work for me. I don't want to have to work for my add-on. And while there's probably 50 situations where this add-on is really good, there's another 1,000 where it's useless. The Iridescent Boat Motor is mid. Next up is sleeping bag. After grabbing a hook spike while in Omnipresent Evil, survivors who are within 10 meters of any hook will have their location revealed to you for 5 seconds. This is the first add-on we're going to talk about that specifically relies on a hook spike, which is what you think it is, a spike that you take off an actual hook. And I'm not the biggest fan of the distinction that behavior made between hook spikes and junk pile spikes, but I guess that's an argument for a different time. If you're ever struggling to find players mid-match, this add-on actually provides a lot of information. You can just chuck your current spike and then grab a new one in Omnipresent Evil. I tested this out on both Killer and Survivor, and what I really like about this add-on is that survivors won't scream when you get the notification of where they are. On top of that, this add-on was actually recently buffed from an 8 meter range to a 10 meter range, which again, like I said, 2 meters doesn't make a huge difference, but it took what was already a good add-on and made it better. Oddly enough, this add-on's probably become one of my go-tos. I really enjoyed the playstyle. It helped me get right into the next chase. The sleeping bag is good. The last add-on in this category is Bloody Smile. Bloody Smile increases the range of your jump scare and your Omnipresent Evil detection range by 4 meters. And you really need to see this add-on side by side to understand what it does. When it comes to the jump scare part of this add-on, the extra 4 meters doesn't feel like a whole lot. Like, I wouldn't recommend this add-on for the jump scare boost, but the increased range of your Omnipresent Evil detection is actually pretty solid. Like, when you're moving around the map, I feel like the increased range might help you see a survivor on a generator that you would have missed, or maybe you see like their footprints going around the map and before this add-on you wouldn't have seen them. But I don't know, it's definitely not the strongest add-on. It probably falls somewhere between mid and bad. I was leaning mid, but then I remembered like I never use this add-on despite having the option to do so. But I don't know, I'm hard-headed. I'm gonna say Bloody Smile is mid. While some people love being in Omnipresent Evil, others prefer catching survivors off guard by using Jason's jump scare ability. And if you use one of these add-ons, you're probably what I like to call a jump scare Jerry. Let's start off with Bent Wheel because it's just Bloody Smile but cut in half. Bent Wheel increases the jump scare range by 4 meters, which is the weaker of the 2 abilities of Bloody Smile. I don't need to talk about this for too long because we just talked about Bloody Smile. I don't really care for the increased range of the jump scare, and for that reason, I believe Bent Wheel is awful. Next up is Orderly Shoe, which was actually really popular at first because when you read this add-on, it sounds pretty cool. Orderly Shoe increases the duration of the haste you get after a jump scare by 5 seconds. But this add-on is exactly why this YouTube series exists. This add-on is 100% placebo. When you see what difference it actually makes in a chase, it's non-existent. So many people were running this add-on right at Jason's release, but not me because I had tested this all the way back in the PTB and found out that it was completely useless. And you might be wondering why it's taken me so long to release this video. Well, there's been a lot of changes to Jason's add-ons. And because of Straz Jr., we've also moved to the new Straz studio. So if you found this video helpful so far, make sure to subscribe. Every subscription is another box I'll unpack. Anyways, I hate Orderly Shoe because the whole thing feels like a lie. The description looks great, but the add-on does nothing. Orderly Shoe is awful. Next up is the Garden Claw. Garden Claw increases the duration of Killer Instinct after a jump scare by 2 seconds. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever been playing Jason and thought to yourself, damn, I wish I had a little more Killer Instinct. That way I could kill these pesky survivors. No? Well, perfect. That's good enough for me. Just look at the side by side. I don't need to say a whole lot more. You do get a benefit, but what is that benefit gonna do in the grand scheme of the game? Garden Claw is bad. Sauna Rock is up next, and can we just take a moment of silence to remember this once great add-on?
Rest in peace, my granny, she got hit by a bazooka.
Sauna Rock was a super strong add-on that used to provide 13 seconds of exhaustion to survivors after a jump scare, but recently it was nerfed all the way down to 3 seconds. Is it still usable? Sure, but you just can't help but to think about what it once was back in the day. Most killers have some type of exhaustion add-on, but they never really hit like this one did. When you think about someone like Springtrap, his exhaustion works by having survivors run through his AoE, but by the time you wind up your axe, survivors have already sprint bursted halfway across the map. Sauna Rock provides the exhaustion at the perfect time, right after a jump scare, just as survivors survivors are starting to run away. It's just a shame they had to do this add-on so dirty, because now it really doesn't take survivors long to get their exhaustion perks back. And all because one YouTuber just had to go on a 3 million game win streak with this add-on. So they basically wiped it from the game. Sonarok is mid. Next up is Toxic Waste, which is another add-on that got recently changed, but this one was actually buffed. After a jump scare, Toxic Waste makes survivors within 10 meters of a hook or scrap pile gain the Oblivious status effect for 13 seconds. In the PTB, the range was 6 meters and it was useless. Once it went live, the range was bumped up to 8 meters and nobody used it. And now they buffed it once again to 10 meters. And I'll admit it's grown on me a little bit. Like, this much. When testing its previous versions, it really didn't seem to have much effect on the game at all, but now it seems like just about every time you jump scare, it will make survivors oblivious. If you're running a fun stealth build, this might be a good addition. Like 13 seconds of oblivious isn't bad, it's just like not the most helpful effect. So while I'm glad this add-on isn't completely useless anymore, I'm still not gonna use it that much. Toxic Waste is mid. The last add-on in the jump scare Jerry category is the Party Noisemaker. And would you be surprised if I told you this was another add-on that was changed recently? With Party Noisemaker, breaking a pallet or a wall with your jump scare reveals all survivors further than 28 meters for 6 seconds. This add-on was buffed from its previous version, which only showed you survivors farther than 32 meters. Honestly, this is a really fun add-on to use. I feel like it works perfectly with Jason's playstyle because I'm almost never breaking pallets with him. Ranged killers usually just play around pallets instead of getting rid of them. So when you're left with a bunch of dropped pallets just littered around the map, you could really take advantage of this add-on. Whether you're in chase and want a quick peek at where everyone else is, or you're in between chases and trying to find your next chase, this add-on is great for information. If your macro game knowledge is really solid, you can probably skip this add-on, but as someone who talks a lot while I stream, an add-on that feeds you passive information is much appreciated. Party Noisemaker is good. While catching survivors off guard is always fun, everyone knows the bread and butter of Jason's power is his spike. And if you use one of these add-ons, you're probably a spike Spencer. The first add-on in this category is Coroner's Coffee. Coroner's Coffee increases the duration of a throwing spike's push by 25%. You also get a 13% haste boost for 3 seconds after injuring a survivor. But here's the catch. That only triggers if they don't make contact with anything in the environment. This add-on has been on a roller coaster when it comes to strength. In the PTB, it gave you 13% haste regardless of what happened to a survivor, which made it one of my favorite add-ons. Then they lowered the haste to just 8%, which made this add-on mediocre, but then they raised it back up to 13%, but it doesn't work if a survivor hits anything in the environment, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of this add-on. When you look at what this add-on does side by side, you'll catch up to a survivor a little bit faster when you're out in the open, but the entire point behind this add-on is the fact that you could pin them up against something in the environment and then close the distance really fast with the haste. I'll miss the original version of this add-on because in its current form, Coroner's Coffee is bad. Next up is Imprinted Aluminum, and there's a lot of things this add-on has going for itself. With Imprinted Aluminum, injuring a healthy survivor with the throwing spike inflicts the mangled and hemorrhage status effect for 70 seconds. So basically it makes it harder for everyone to heal. This add-on is great because it's incredibly easy to get value from it. You'll inevitably hit your spike throws throughout the game, and personally I think a hit and run playstyle on Jason is really powerful. Not committing to every single chase allows for better map control, and when you pair this up with the powerful Deputy's badge, you can get hits and then jump right back into Omnipresent Evil to go regress some generators. I'll admit my love for this add-on has dropped a little bit as I've been experimenting with some of his more fun add-ons, but if I need to lock in, I'm completely fine full sending Imprinted Aluminum on any of my builds. Imprinted Aluminum is good. Next up is Mirror Shards, and if you don't carefully read the wording on this one, you might be overestimating what this add-on actually does. With Mirror Shards, survivors are inflicted with the broken status effect for 40 seconds after extracting a hook spike from themselves. The description doesn't explicitly specify whether it has to be a hook spike or a regular spike, but don't be fooled. This add-on only works with hook spikes. Regular spikes do not lodge in survivors, meaning they're unable to remove them from themselves. That means if you want to get value from this add-on, you have to land a hook spike. This distinction is really annoying to me, and honestly, I just prefer imprinted aluminum because of this. It serves a similar goal, and it's a lot easier to get consistent value from. Mirror shards is fine. Like if I spun a wheel of all of Jason's add-ons and got this one, I wouldn't be excited, but I wouldn't be disappointed either. And for that reason, mirror shards is mid. Knitting needle is next, and we really don't need to spend a lot of time on this one. Knitting needle increases the time it takes survivors to remove a hook spike from themselves by 20%. When you look at what it does side by side, you do see a difference, but it's not super useful in a game. The only reason I've used this add-on is because I forced myself to equip it for this video, and it doesn't make a huge difference in the flow of a match. Maybe there's some synergy with this add-on and some other add-ons that we're going to talk about, but really just doesn't warrant an add-on slot. Knitting needle is bad. Missing corkscrew is the next add-on, and this one can be fun. With missing corkscrew, you gain the undetectable status when a survivor is impaled with a hook spike. This effect persists for 13 seconds after a survivor is no longer impaled. Like, could this be an add-on we pair up with knitting needle to make it better? Yeah, it's something to think about. For my folks that love stealth builds, this one's for y'all. It adds a bit of chaos to the game, and this effect can actually persist for a little while if a survivor doesn't immediately remove their spike. I just don't know how helpful all this undetectable is gonna be. I guess it will help you with mind games a bit, but you're a ranged killer, so you're usually just spiking people over loops unless it's like a super tall tile. So yeah, is it fun? Definitely. Is it practical? Probably not as much. It might give you a few extra downs over a 50 game stretch, but that's not really gonna excite me. Missing corkscrew is mid. The final add-on for those spike spencers out there is burnt fuse, and oh boy, do I have some things to say about this add-on. With burnt fuse, when a survivor is impaled by a hook spike, the exit gates are blocked for them and any other survivor within 13 meters. This effect persists 5 seconds after a survivor is no longer impaled. And before we get into this add-on, I want to start with this. I really like loot bag on Springtrap. These add-ons are just meant to secure an extra kill at the end of the game. Burnt fuse, however, pisses me off 100% more. Unlike Springtrap, you can't just call a hook spike to your hand at any point. And not only that, it has to be a hook spike. Regular spikes do not work. I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work as well. I end up usually playing this weird game of chicken with survivors. I'm blocking them from exiting while I'm trying to slowly inch myself over to a hook to grab a hook spike. And with Springtrap, his add-ons are kind of mediocre, so an endgame add-on feels like a great way to upgrade a match from a loss to a draw or a draw to a win. But with Jason, this add-on just seems like a great way to piss yourself off and make endgame super annoying and more time consuming. Maybe I'm just a little bit tilted, but I hate this add-on on Jason when there's so many better options. Burnt fuse is bad. The last category of add-ons is for folks who really don't lean into any of his core mechanics. These add-ons can be used in a variety of different ways. So if you use any of these add-ons, you are what I'd like to call a resourceful Randy. Let's start with Two Nails, because this one could honestly be in the Spike Spencer category. With Two Nails, survivors that come within 1 meter of a throwing spike have their aura revealed for 5 seconds. This one might not sound good, like you get aura reading for being bad at throwing spikes, but it triggers if you land your hit as well. So if you hit someone with the spike, you see their aura for the next 5 seconds, which can be really helpful to track and down a survivor that you just injured. My biggest problem with this add-on isn't the add-on itself, it's the fact that you basically already have a version of this base kit when you hit someone with a hook spike. With this add-on, you get to see the aura of survivors that get hit with either a hook spike or a regular spike, and when you look at it that way, it just seems a little bit unnecessary. On top of that, this add-on actually got nerfed not too long ago. It used to give you a whole extra second of aura reading. It's still fine though. Two Nails is mid. Bloody Magazine is the next add-on, and it's actually pretty similar to Two Nails. When a hook spike misses, all survivors within 8 meters of a hook spike scream and reveal their auras for 3 seconds. If you're really skilled at long distance shots, I imagine this add-on could provide some good information, but half the time I try to chuck my spike across the map at like a generator or maybe my hex, I have zero clue where it actually lands. This seems to be one of those add-ons that in theory could be good, but when it comes to an actual match, I just feel like it's hard to get value from it. If you spent 100 hours trying to master this add-on, I might feel a little bit differently about it, but if you're someone like me who doesn't have a ton of time to dedicate to mastering a single add-on, you should probably skip this one. Bloody Magazine is bad. iGoop is up next, and it seems like this was everyone's go-to when Jason came out. With iGoop, you gain the undetectable status for 13 seconds after grabbing a hook spike. That includes getting a hook spike from hooking a survivor. And it's easy to see why everyone gravitated towards this add-on at first, because it's pretty simple. Grab a hook spike, sneak up on survivors. I myself used this add-on a fair bit at first, but as time went on, I just grew out of it. It just doesn't seem to work with the way most people play Jason. Like, odds are you're moving around the map in Omnipresent Evil. Sneaking up on survivors just doesn't seem as exciting when there's add-ons that can regress generators, cause survivors to be exhausted, and even show their auras. iGoop has to be one of the more boring add-ons in his kit. iGoop is mid. And now for our final add-on, and we saved one of the best add-ons for last, Dirty Money. When a generator is repaired, you gain 2 tokens. When you vault a window, break a pallet, or break a wall, one of those tokens is consumed and you gain a regular spike. I love this add-on because A, it's really unique and kind of super cool for the devs to make this, and B, it's really powerful. Dirty Money will catch survivors off guard when they realize you have it for the first time and that you can basically just get a spike back on command. And because you get a second chance after a missed spike, you'll end multiple chases earlier than normal. Dirty Money is another one of those add-ons that once you get used to it, it's just hard to take off your build because it can come in clutch sometimes. And although it's not the most overpowered iridescent add-on I've ever tested, I think it's well worth its rarity. If you haven't tried out this add-on yet, it's definitely one you need to go check out. You'll have fun using it and it will help you win. Dirty Money is good. Well, there you have it. Every single Jason add-on tried and tested. If you want to know where I would rank each add-on, I'll put it up on the screen now, but it's always important to test out which add-ons work best for your playstyle. Jason has a similar add-on set to Springtrap, but his add-ons are way stronger, which is why it's even more important to watch this video where I compare every Springtrap add-on side by side.